What is up, everybody? It's Friday. Usually we got 2 days before a game. We are less than 24 hours until game time. I can't wait. The playoffs are finally here. I know you guys are hyped. I know everybody's nervous. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk all about it. I'm going to drop the promo, the little trailer before we start and get right into it. What is up, everybody? How are we feeling? How are we doing? What is up? Happy Friday the 13th, says Debbie. Oh my God. Yeah, it's Friday the 13th. And Brock Purdy is number 13. I don't know if that has any, and anything. If you guys are superstitious, maybe has something. Hold on, my hood's all jacked up. I can't get this straight. Sorry, we got a little difficulty. We're good. All right. Anyways, it's Friday. It's been a long week. I can't wait. Before we get to the predictions and everything, you know what? We have some good news today. The 49ers had 6 players named to the all-pro team. 4 first-team all-pros and then 2 second-team all-pros. You had Nick Bosa, you had Fred Warner, you had Trent Williams, and Talanoa Hufanga. Wow, I was shocked on that one. He made his first-team all-pro, his first all-pro list altogether, but he was named to the first-team all-pro with Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, and Trent Williams. All pros, well-deserved. They were phenomenal this season. And then second-team all-pro, you had George Kittle. You can only have one on, it was Travis Kelce. He was the unanimous tight end for first team. And then George Kittle was the second-team all-pro. And then George Odom, special teams and plus safety. He got in for special teams on the second-team all-pro. Shout out to him. He was a very important special teamer for this team. So it's cool to see. Good to see. And like I said, we got some Pro Bowlers. We got some All-Pros. We got a lot of accolades this year. The only thing that would have been better is if Dre Greenlaw made the list. Dre Greenlaw missed the All-Pro list by 1 vote. He got 1 vote shy from being named to the All-Pro list. So Dre Greenlaw should have been on there. Him and Warner were probably the best 2 linebackers in the NFL, but it's crazy. What's up, everybody? Yeah. Everybody tuning in, dropping in. Appreciate you guys. 49er minded. What's up, Terrence? What's up, baby? Noah, everybody in the comments. What's up to everybody? Reyes says rain will favor the Seahawks because it rains in Seattle. We'll get to that. We'll talk about that. My man 49ers minded says he's surprised that Hufanga made the All-Pro. I think a lot of people were like, I wasn't surprised that he was an All-Pro. He played so good down the beginning of the game. He became one of the best safeties in the league. I feel like towards the end of the season he did kind of slow down a little bit in terms of production. But hey, this guy played his ass off, and he's only getting started, second year in the league. This guy is very talented. He had a few lapses here and there, but he's going to be an X factor for this team in this game, and we'll talk about him shortly. But yeah, shout out to Hufanga. I think that was pretty amazing to see him get voted as a first-team All-Pro. Like I know there's been so many good safeties out there, but he was among the best safeties this year. By far and away. Again, I know he had a few lapses, but overall, man, this guy was he was a game breaker. Like, he made game-winning interceptions on multiple weeks. He played at a very high level for many weeks. At the first half of the season, he probably was the best safety in the entire NFL. Like, for half of the season, he was. I know he kind of tapered out, but he was still a top 5 safety to me. So Hufanga is only in his second year. He's a 5th-round pick, man. So I know a lot of people were shocked, but hey, it's pretty dope to see. Again, 6 players as an All-Pro. Only 3 teams had that many: the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the 49ers. They all had the most players in the All-Pro list. So I think that's pretty dope, right? But man, hyped up. Let's go, Merlin. 49er Minus says, hopefully Hufanga steps up in the playoffs. Definitely. We're going to need him to step up and be a big part, because this secondary definitely is going to be an X factor moving forward for the entire remainder of the season. Noah says Huff slowed down, but he's still fire. 100% agree. My boy Bash 49er Minder says surprised Dre Greenlaw didn't make it. I am too. I was very shook that he didn't make it. To me, Warner and Greenlaw were just so amazing. I know Greenlaw missed a little bit of time with the injury, but at the same time, to me, he was just one of the most game-changing players on this team. There was times where Greenlaw was the reason we won many games or series, and he forced a lot of turnovers. He was always in the mix on defense. He was always around the ball, big time goal line stance. He had some, just big moments. Very aggressive, and he missed an All Pro by one vote today, second team All Pro. So it's unfortunate, but hey, he was amazing. I think next season he'll be at least a Pro Bowler and maybe an All Pro if he continues to play. We're lucky. At the end of the day, the Niners are blessed to have two phenomenal linebackers, the best linebacking crew in the world. Warner and Greenlaw are just unbelievable. It kind of gives you that feeling of when we had Fred Warner or Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman. Maybe not as good as them yet. They're still young and developing, but it kind of feels that way. Like these two are head and shoulders above the rest. And you have these two just dynamic, sideline to sideline type linebackers. So it's cool to see. Very, very cool to see it. Yes, sir. Minded. My man says hit the like button, subscribe. So without further ado, let's talk about this game tomorrow. We have an absolute classic game coming up. 49ers get the first game of the playoffs. Wish we would have played Sunday, but hey, I'm not going to complain. We're in the playoffs. And it's going to be a wet and rainy and slip and slide type game, right? It's supposed to be raining tomorrow. It's raining today. It's been raining in the Bay for 2 freaking weeks, man. It's been raining for 2 weeks out in the Bay, and tomorrow's no different. So, to me, this game is going to be a little bit of an ugly game at times, right? Maybe the rain might stop a little bit during the middle of the game. Sometimes it like that's how it's been lately in the Bay. It's been raining like crazy, and then it stops. And then it rains like crazy, then it stops. They'll have the tarp down. Hopefully they can keep that field minimally wet, until the game time. And hopefully it doesn't rain too much during the game, but it is supposed to rain, and you never know how the rain pattern is going to be. But it is going to be a rainy day tomorrow. 100%, 90% chance of rain from the last time I checked. The other day it said about 100% chance, so we'll see, but it is going to rain. So to me, the biggest X factor is going to be the run game, right? It's going to be a run game. That's it. CMC is the ultimate X factor to me. I honestly think CMC is going to be the guy. They called up Tevin Coleman today from the practice squad, so it tells me that they want to make sure they have all running backs on deck. It tells me they're going to run the ball a lot. The last time the 49ers played the Seattle Seahawks, they ran 30 times. Mason, they had CMC, they had Brock Purdy running. They ran the ball 30 times, and that was it. They had over 150 yards rushing. And that was the key. They just ran the ball down Seattle's throat. I got some stats here. The Seahawks, they definitely allow a lot of runs. They have, let me see. Let me take a look at this. Let me see where I have these stats somewhere. Seattle allows over, they're the 28th. Where is it at? 26 points a game for the 49ers scoring total in offense of the season. But since CMC and Brock Purdy have been there, they've been scoring 33.5 points. So it's a big uptick. But again, rushing yards is going to be the key. And the 49ers ran all over them last time. Seahawks are 28th, I believe, in rushing yards allowed. Correct me if I'm wrong. Overall, 49ers are just cooking. And CMC, 8th in the NFL in rushing yards. He has 1,139 rushing yards. He has 85 catches for 741 yards. He's the reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Month. This guy's going to come in and bring everything he can. Last time he played Seattle in Week 15, CMC had 138 yards from scrimmage. That's crazy. He went crazy against. We remember that game. He was all over the place. So I think the run game is definitely going to be the factor of this game. I think Kyle Shanahan's just going to say, hey, we're going to run. We're going to run. We're going to run some more. Now, they will probably let Purdy throw the ball a little bit more, right? Like, he didn't have to throw as many times Week 15. And you got to remember, Brock Purdy played with some bad ribs the last time they played the Seahawks. Remember, he was dealing with the oblique injury and all that stuff, and he still delivered with dimes. Now Brock Purdy's fully healthy. Christian McCaffrey is ready to go, and he's the reigning NFC Player of the Month. You have Jordan Mason, Elijah Mitchell, who came back last week, and he looked very good, scored 2 touchdowns, and you have Tevin Coleman on there. So to me, I know they have Ty Davis Price. I don't think Ty Davis Price is going to play much tomorrow or at all. I think that they pulled up Coleman because they want that veteran guy. And in case anything happens, Tevin Coleman could come in and you know, do what he has to do in Kyle Shanahan's offense. Tevin Coleman, if you remember, 2019, he was one of the running backs that the Niners had, and they went crazy. They went absolutely crazy with Tevin Coleman and Raheem and all those boys. So I really feel that Tevin Coleman will be there, and his veteran presence will be nice for them. So nice call up. Again, the rushing is going to be just the absolute factor for this game. So Rocio says, I don't know why a lot of analysts give some sort of edge towards the Seahawks. We're in the playoffs. You are what you are in terms of a team. We're going to win clearly, I bet. So, a lot of people are starting to side towards the Seahawks. Not everybody, a lot of people. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are going to tell you that the Niners are going to win. I mean, there's different people. But I think the people that are choosing the Seahawks, I feel like they think the Niners are just going to – everything's going to cave in. They're going to make mistakes because they've been playing so well these last 10 weeks. They're undefeated in 10 weeks. Brock Purdy's been playing so poised. They think that maybe the Niners are going to let up. I don't think so. This team is hungry. They've been playing this style for the last 2 months. They haven't lost since October 23rd. And that game against the Chiefs sparked them. And the 49ers are absolutely healthy heading into this game. Like, I know that the Seahawks are going to run. I know they're playing with nothing to lose type mentality. Pete Carroll, great coach. They got a good young team. I get it. The Seahawks are going to come in and do well. It's a rivalry game. But I just don't think they're good enough to beat the 49ers. 49ers are an elite team. They're on the cusp of becoming an elite team. They're a very great team. Seahawks are above average. They limped into the playoffs. And I don't think that they can just come in and handle the 49ers. I think they're going to have everything go right for them in order to beat San Francisco. And again, it's a home game for the 49ers. That's a big factor. The Seattle has to travel all the way from Seattle to Santa Clara tomorrow. So they'll be flying over tonight. Most likely they're flying now. Who knows? But that definitely makes a big factor for the 49ers. And again, the run game is the ultimate X factor. You got CMC, you got Mason, you got Mitchell, you got Coleman. And I just think this team, with their healthy team, with everybody on the line, Aaron Banks is ready. Trent Williams, man, this guy is healthy. Last season, Trent Williams was kind of banged up coming into the playoffs. So everybody is healthy on this O-line, and that is dangerous, man. And I don't know, man. I feel like this team is just going to come out and run all over the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I will give the Seahawks some credit. They got the 13th total offense. Kenneth Walker, he's becoming a nice little young star in the rise. He had over 1,000 yards rushing this year with 10 touchdowns. I like Ken Walker, but I think the 49ers can neutralize him. You got Kevin Givens back. Their run defense has been really, ferocious. You got Dre Greenlaw back. You got Fred Warner, Arik Armstead. I think there's just going to be too much people closing up lanes. And I don't think Walker's going to be able to run all over the Niners. He's been playing well overall, but I just don't see him able to get too much penetration through this D-line. This D-line is going to be coming out with some intensity, man. Intensity. So Robert Savage says, I feel like we're just too good to lose in the first round. But of course, I'm going to say that because I'm a Niner fan. Yeah, exactly. I feel the same way. But again, the games are played on the field. You got to go out there and execute. These guys, if the game was on paper, pencil us in. But the games aren't played on paper. So they do have to go out and play. But I agree with you. I feel like this team is just too good. They're just too good to lose this game. But there is a couple other X factors on this game. So we talked about the run game. Of course, to me, that is the major factor of this game. And I think CMC is going to go crazy. I think he's going to go absolutely bananas. This is his second playoff game of his career. He's only played one. That was his rookie season with the Panthers back in like 2017, 2018 season. So this is his first time in a long time. He's ready. He's hungry to prove himself. A lot of people wrote him off. Now, the other X factor, before we get to certain players that I want to single out, the secondary. Now, without a doubt, 49ers secondary is going to be a big factor because, they got DK Metcalf in Seattle. They got Tyler Lockett. They're two really good receivers. But you got to remember, the last few times the 49ers played, especially this year, Charvarius Ward has locked up DK Metcalf. He's gotten under his skin. We've talked about it this week. Everybody's been, on the fence with Deommodore Lenoir. Is he going to be able to step up? Everybody's been kind of dragging him through the mud these last couple of weeks. He's going to have a big game. I know they called up Janoris Jenkins, so maybe Janoris Jenkins gets in there and he gets his feet, wet, and he starts playing. I don't know. We'll see. It may happen that they put Jenkins in there overall over the rookie or the second-year player, Deommodore Lenoir. We'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. But if Lenoir plays a lot, he's got his work cut out for him because they're going to throw to him, and they're going to throw to him a lot. And he has a chance to kind of right his wrongs over the last couple of weeks and really prove himself. And I feel, and I said this yesterday, my bold prediction is Deommodore Lenoir. If he's in there and he's playing, he's going to have the he's going to have the big impact. I have a feeling because they're going to be picking on him. They're going to throw to him. They're not going to throw to Ward. They're not going to throw to Jimmy Ward. I mean, they might try a few times. They're going to throw, Lockett in the slot, and you got Jimmy Ward who's in the slot. He's going to go out there and try to do his thing. But Lockett's quick. Jimmy Ward doesn't have that speed. So Lenoir's going to have to come out and help. I have a feeling that Deommodore Lenoir is going to get the game-sealing or game-winning interception. I have a feeling Deommodore Lenoir is going to get the big pick, and he's going to seal the deal. That's my prediction tomorrow. If he plays and he's the starter, and if it's not Jenkins out there, I think Deommodore Lenoir is going to have the biggest play in the third or fourth quarter for this team and lock it up. That's my bold prediction for this game. I could be completely wrong, but I'm going to put that out there. I'm going to put that out there that Deommodore Lenoir is going to have the biggest impact in terms of secondary. He's going to have a big money play. I'm calling it. I feel it. I just feel it because everybody's been shitting on him. They're dragging him. They're going to pick on him. Seattle knows he's the weak link right now. They're going to throw to him. Lenoir knows it. He's coming for blood, man. I have that. That's my prediction. I don't know. I hope I'm right. I really hope I'm right. What's up, everybody? Mariah, what's good? Good to see you in the chat. The Soccer Patriots says, do you think Purdy can shine in a way, anyway tomorrow? Yeah, we're going to get to Brock Purdy. But I definitely think Brock Purdy is going to be able to shine tomorrow. That's definitely another X factor, Brock Purdy. We'll get to him in just a second. But, yeah, overall, the secondary has to play. And we talked about Talanoa Hufanga earlier. All-pro Huff. All-pro Huff. All-pro Huff. He's got to bring it. We've talked about him all season. He was such a good player during the beginning of the season. He was the guy that really sealed the deal on many games. The Chargers game, he had the interception. The Rams game, pick six. Like, he had big-time moments this year. And then, those last couple of weeks, it was kind of up and down roller coaster. But he was a big-time part. I think Hufanga has to step in and have a massive game. His instincts, he's got to be able to stop the run. I definitely think Hufanga is another guy that has to step up. And I think he will. I think he's going to, rise to the occasion. He's a baller, man. He's meant for these types of moments. So I'm not worried about Talanoa Hufanga. I think he will step up in this game. So we'll see. The Soccer Patriot says, Purdy stat line prediction. I want you guys to drop your Purdy stat line prediction. Let's talk about Brock Purdy because he is definitely a X factor in tomorrow. It's his first game as a starting quarterback in the NFL playoffs, right? Can he keep it up? We talked about this yesterday, and I absolutely think he can because he has the team around him, the coach that's really giving him the keys, that trusts him. He's aggressive, right? I think Brock is going to be able to play and win this game. If Brock Purdy wins tomorrow, he'll be the first rookie quarterback to win a playoff game since Russell Wilson did it. And that's huge, right? That's crazy that we're playing Seattle Seahawks, and they were the last team that had a rookie quarterback win a playoff game. That's crazy to me. And now here we are with Brock Purdy playing against the Seattle Seahawks, and it's his first playoff game. He's a rookie. If he wins tomorrow, he'll be the first rookie quarterback to win a playoff game since Russell Wilson. It's crazy, full circle. And Geno Smith, we got to remember it's Geno Smith's first playoff game. So everybody's sitting here making a big deal about Brock, but it's also the first playoff game for Geno. Can Geno cook it up? Can he continue? Which Geno Smith are we going to get? Is it going to be the Geno Smith that really took the league by storm and wasn't writing back beginning of the season? Or is it going to be the last Geno who kind of was mediocre, a little above average at best, over the last couple of weeks? So we'll see. It's going to be up to the pass rush to get to Geno. My prediction, my stat line for Brock Purdy, because I think it's going to be a run-centric game, but I still think Purdy's going to have to make some big-time money plays. I see he's going to have 185 passing yards. Doesn't have to pass a lot, but he's going to have to make some plays when he needs to, and he's going to have to make it count. I'm going to say 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I'll say 13 out of 19. So 13 out of 19, 180. I'll say 85. 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's my Brock Purdy stat line tomorrow. So Mariah says, Geno's love letter ends tomorrow. I think so. Tomorrow, that boy better get to writing because Geno Smith, You remember what he said? I didn't write back. The boy's got a lot of writing to do. A lot of writing to do. Get the book out, Gino. Get the book out. You got a lot of notes to write tomorrow. I want 53 letters to every single player of this 53-man roster and write them back. Everybody on the 49ers. If the 49ers take out Gino, I expect a letter to everybody. Hand's going to be tired come Sunday morning after all that writing. But you know what I'll say is I think Brock Purdy, 185 yards, 13 for 19, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's my stat line on Brock Purdy. I don't know what you guys think. What was the weather today? Paranoid says it was cold. It was rainy. It was like 50 degrees. It was raining all day. And that's probably how it's going to be tomorrow. It's been rainy times in the Bay. And I don't know. I don't know what happened. Mother Nature. Global warming took over. Hey, Peter Parker says, you can't write back if you're on your back. I agree. Gino be slipping. It's going to be a slip and slide game for Gino and these guys. Hey, Peter Parker says, the 49ers 24, Seahawks 9. I like it. I like that prediction. The Niners could come out and dominate. Again, I think it's going to be a close game to start, but we'll see. And now there's another guy that we need to talk about who hasn't actually, nobody's been really talking about this guy for the last couple of weeks, you know. Deebo Samuel. It's quiet. It's quiet on the Deebo front. I know he hasn't had the big season that he's had overall since last year. You know, he carried this team, got his contract. He got some injuries this year. But nobody's talking about Deebo. This guy traditionally cooks the Seahawks. Deebo Samuel usually has money games against the Seahawks. I feel it. I feel like Deebo might have a big-time game. He's a playoff guy, right? Big-time games, big-time players step up. And I have this feeling that Deebo Samuel is going to come in and kind of go crazy. I don't know, or at least have a big-time play. Like, I have him breaking off like a big touchdown. They're going to give him some, like, jet sweep or something like that, you know, a little screen pass or a slant over the middle, and he's going to take it and go wild. I have this feeling they're going to drop one of those plays, those Deebo-type plays, and he's going to have a money play. I don't know. Nobody's talking about Deebo, but over his career, he has dominated Seattle, man. I just really feel that Deebo is not getting enough talk this week. Nobody's really mentioning him. And I don't know. Yeah, my man 49er Josh says, I got a feeling every player is going to go up. I don't know. No, I know CMC is going to have a money game because he's like the X factor for me for this game. But I don't know. Nobody's talking about Deebo. I think he's going to have a big-time moment. I think he's going to be a guy that, you know, it just steps up. You remember last year in the playoffs, everybody, you remember that Dallas game, right? He put the ball in the box and he told them, give me the ball. Boom, gets the ball. First play, touchdown. Oh, my God. First play after the turnover, right? And he comes in, we remember that play. That play was legendary. First play after he tells Kyle, just give me the ball. And he goes wild. Touchdown. And then he told Kyle, I told you so. I just feel that Deebo he's due for a monster play. I don't know why, but I see it. I've been having this image in my head that Deebo is going to go and just score. Remember the spin play 2019? Takes it to the edge, jet sweep, spins around, touchdown. Like, I feel like one of those big moments is coming, and he's going to be dancing in the end zone. It's going to be a Deebo moment tomorrow, and I'm hyped up already about it. Just remember. Another guy we got to keep an eye on, of course, BA1K. Brandon Ayuk hit his 1,000 yards this season. He broke out. Obviously, he's a guy that Seattle's going to key on, right? Just like the 49ers are going to key on DK Metcalf and Lockett. Seattle's going to want to really try to stop Brandon Ayuk, and that's why I think Deebo is going to have to step up because they're going to put a lot of emphasis on Brandon Ayuk, the route running supremacist. You know, this guy's so good. He's been cooking up defenders. He's got a big matchup with Tariq Woolen, who's been a very solid cornerback rookie. He's one of the best rookies of this season. So Tariq Woolen is going to be really playing tough on Brandon Ayuk. So I think Deebo is going to have to really step up and help out BA. And I think that's what's going to happen. But I honestly feel that is going to be another big-time matchup. It's going to be Tariq Woolen versus Brandon Ayuk. To me, that's going to be the money matchup. Like, I know DK Metcalf and Charvarius Ward's going to be a huge matchup, but just as good of a matchup is going to be Brandon Ayuk and Tariq Woolen. That's going to be a fun matchup. And they also got that guy, Kobe Bryant, who's been cooking up, man. Kobe Bryant, they got two really young cornerbacks. And that's the other thing is 49ers have an advantage here because they are a more veteran team into this play. Like, they have a lot more experience than the Seahawks. Seahawks are very young. You know, a lot of their players, Kenneth Walker, rookie. Tariq Woolen, rookie. Kobe Bryant, rookie, right? Geno Smith, this is his first time in the playoffs. Got a very young team coming in. Pete Carroll did a very good job of drafting this team, and nobody, they didn't even sniff the playoffs last year. Nobody expected them to be here this year, and they did. They turned it around, had a good draft class, and here they are. So we'll see. They got a young team, but that Tariq Woolen, Brandon Ayuk matchup's gonna be fun. So the Soccer Patriot says Jordan Mason is going to be a huge factor for this game. Going to need a power back in these running games. Yeah, 100% Patriot. I mean, just the running game in general. Like I said, that to me is the biggest X factor for the Niners. The last time they played Seattle, 30 rush attempts. And I think they're going to do the same thing this week, is just run, run, run. Jordan Mason, he was the closer. They call him the closer. He's that Mariano Rivera type guy. I mean? He's the guy that finishes the job. CMC gets him all the way down, and then Mason kind of takes over when the teams are tired, and he just powers through them. So yeah, Jordan Mason's gonna hopefully have a big role in this game, or some type of role in this game. And then you got Elijah Mitchell, man. Elijah Mitchell last week came back, and he just showed how much they need a guy like him, because he runs that outside zone read. He does a lot, and he's a very quick / powerful guy. He can help in the passing game. Elijah Mitchell is a very versatile running guy, and that's another guy that I'm so happy is back. He got healthy at the absolute right time. The absolute right time. This running game, CMC, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, and again, Tevin Coleman, they got backs. They can rotate them. They're going to keep everybody fresh, because the other thing is they got to limit injuries. You cannot get injured going into this game or leaving this game. You got to escape this game with less injuries, because these teams that can stay healthy and have their best players available every week, you got a better chance of winning. So hopefully we can stay healthy. But I agree, Jordan Mason hopefully has a nice role in this game. We'll see. Again, they're eighth in rushing offense, and they've been cooking it up these last couple of weeks with CMC back. Now they got a Mitchell back, and I think Shanahan is going to be able to utilize everybody he has and just go crazy with them. So Peter Parker says, did I see Bill Barnell Super Bowl prediction? Bills over 49ers, 27-17. I saw that, actually. I did see that. He predicted 49ers and Bills, and he has the Bills over the 49ers. I mean, I hope that's not true. I hope it's wrong, and I think if we can play the Bills, we can beat them, because, the Bills have made a lot of mistakes. Josh Allen's a great quarterback, but he's made a lot of mistakes this season, and this defense, very opportunistic. But I don't even want to think about the Super Bowl yet. 1 week at a time. We got to focus up on Seattle. But again, we'll see what happens when all the chips fly. I want to talk about the playoffs in just a second. We're going to do a little prediction in just a second. We'll have you guys pick the playoffs with me. I want to do a playoff prediction with you guys. But, let's finish talking up about the Seattle game. Let's see if you guys have any questions or any bold predictions of yourself. Drop them in the comments, and I'll read them out. So Easy R says, I think Kyle will drop a great offensive game plan for this game and should be able to execute. We got to show Seattle who owns this division right now. I agree. 49ers are undefeated in this division. They didn't lose a single game in the NFC West. They dominated their opponents in the NFC West, and I think Kyle's going to come out and continue to flex his muscles. So I agree with that. 49ers. Raj says, Niners previous Super Bowl wins had all-star pass catching running back 80s. Rodgers 90s was Waters. Now CMC. It's a good, smart little comment there. And that's the Niners, just that West Coast offense, dink and dunk, drop the screen passes to your running back, and that's always been their style. And 49ers continue to run that style. Kyle Shanahan loves to get the running back involved in the passing game, and CMC is the perfect catching running back. He's that kind of reminds me of a Marshall Faulk type guy, Roger Craig, I guess you could say too, former 49er. So he's just so versatile, man. And I agree. This offense has all the weapons, but they also have that pass-catching running back. So good stuff. Hey, Peter Parker says, I have Deebo going for over 100 total yards and a tutty tomorrow. Let's go. I told you, man. I appreciate it. I'm telling you, I think Deebo is going to have a big game. I don't know if he gets over 100, but I would love to see him get over 100 total yards from scrimmage. Randy says, good evening to the millions and millions of the faithful. Let's go. Shout out to the faithful. You guys are the best. Easy R says, thanks for the reply. No doubt, my man. Legendary Answers says, George Kittle, 2 touchdowns. BA 2 touchdowns. Woo! 4 touchdowns. That's going to be a lot of points. And I I don't know. This is the way I look at it, and I've said this during the week. I think it's going to be a slow game, a rainy game. Calls for running, and when you run the ball, the games kind of go quickly, or the time expires quickly. So it's going to be just like a very slow paced run the ball. You're not getting too far, too fast. Defensive kind of dominating type game. I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring. But I think that the 49ers might score some field goals in there. Hopefully they can convert in the red if they get towards the red zone, because they got George Kittle and he's been cooking it up over the last couple of weeks. That's another X factor, is who's going to cover George Kittle, and that task goes to Jonathan Abram, safety. They had Jamal Adams at the beginning of the season. He got hurt, and then Neal came in and he got hurt, and now they got Jonathan Abram, who they picked up, and he's been pretty solid overall at safety. He's a hard-hitting safety, but he's kind of really improved in terms of overall coverage skills. He's got a tough task to kind of cover George Kittle. And that, to me, is another big X factor, is George Kittle. The 49ers get to the red zone, nobody's stopping him. They haven't been able to stop him. He's got 7 touchdowns in his last 4 games. The man has a crazy combination. Like, him and Brock Purdy are they're insane. They're dominating people right now. They're absolutely dominating people. Kittle and Purdy. And that is another X factor. If George Kittle if they can keep on rolling with him in the red zone, Seattle won't have a chance. But I do think there will be a few field goals in this game, because it is a rainy game. So I feel like there might be some field goals here. I have my prediction is 27-17 Niners. I think the 49ers pull away in the second half. I think it'll be close. The 49ers, you can't outlast them in 4 quarters. 2 quarters, you might be able to play them tough and get the best of them, but the 49ers always come out in that second half, make adjustments, and you can't outstand them. They're just so conditioned. They have such good depth. They can rotate everybody. Some of their players don't get tired. Like, you see Nick Bosa, he gets stronger as the game goes, and people are hand on the hips. Oh, they're so tired. I got it 27-17. The 49ers are going to pull away. They're going to get the They're going to get the big turnover in the second half, and they're just going to shut down Seattle, and they're not going to be able to hang with the 49ers, because they're just so much more conditioned than everybody. They're trained so hard. You guys remember training camp. I remember going there, and I'm like, God, these guys are training their ass off. And now I see it. I know they get hurt a lot because Kyle trains their ass so hard, but it's because he wants them to be stronger and have more endurance than everybody he plays. You get to the Niners, you're not going to be able to outlast them for 4 quarters. 27-17, 49ers, they're going to be knocking out ass. They're going to be hitting them in the mouth. And again, game-sealing play, the biggest game-sealing play on defense, to me, bold prediction, Gianmarco Lenore. That's it. That's my prediction. 27-17. I got, who's going to score some tutties tomorrow? Kittle probably going to score a touchdown. I got C-Mac scoring a touchdown. CMC scoring a touchdown. And Deebo, again, I think Deebo is going to go and score a touchdown. That's 21 points right there. And then you got 2 field goals. So 21, tack on 2 Robbie Gold field goals. 27-17. That's my score prediction. I'm sticking to it. So IG Legendary Answer says, speaking of Nick Bosa, what's going on with the Depoy Award, Defensive Player of the Year Award? I seen somewhere that Micah Parsons was voted. No. So these people have their predictions and who they would vote for. I think certain people have their votes casted already. Like, I think it was the Monday Morning Quarterback from Sports Illustrated. Like, they got, if it's up to them, it's going to be Micah Parsons. But honestly, there's no doubt in my mind that Nick Bosa is going to be Defensive Player of the Year. Like, if you ask anybody that's anybody, it's got to be Nick Bosa. He leads in pretty much every defensive stat category for pass rushers. He was a Defensive Player of the Month last month in November. He's just been killing the year. He has the most sacks in the NFL. He has the most quarterback pressures. The guy's been dominating. So I honestly think that there's no way in my mind that Nick Bosa does not win Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, sure, there's some people that are biased and they want to have Parsons propaganda, but he has not won. It's not official. The official award does not occur till February 7th on the NFL Honors. They're going to vote. That's when all the awards are, finished, voted for, and tabulated, and they do a big award ceremony. So February 7th, NFL Honors, that's when we find out who wins what. So Randy says Nick is a lock, 100%. If he doesn't win, we're rioting. Somehow, some way, we're going to figure out a way to riot. There's no way in my mind that he doesn't win. There's no way in my mind that he doesn't win. Oh, man. Kittle's catches will drop now that Deebo's back. Look for 85 in the red zone. Gold-blooded says. I mean, yeah, he might have a less production because Deebo's back. But the thing is, I don't think it's going to drop much because the way that Brock Purdy plays as a quarterback, he's not looking for that first read like Jimmy was. Jimmy would go for the first read, and Deebo usually was that guy. The safe route, the little quick intermediate pass right over the middle, something like that. That was the first read. Purdy's not always looking for that first read. He scans it. He likes to take a little bit more uh, time to let the play develop and open up more. And he likes to take a little bit more risk. And sometimes, he'll escape a little bit, buy some time. And he's looking for that further read because he wants the play to go far out. He wants to get the bigger play, the bigger chunk play. He doesn't want to dink and dunk. He doesn't want to take the 5-yard play and hope that it goes to 20 yards, with the yak. He knows these guys can get yak. And if he can throw it 15 yards instead of 5 yards, and then you get yak, that's what he's going to do. And I don't think that Kittle's production is going to drop too much. I know Deebo's going to have a bigger part of this game, but because Brock Purdy extends plays and he takes a little bit more time, I still think Kittle has a big game. And again, red zone, Brock Purdy's looking. He's got eyes only for George. He's got eyes on George Kittle. He's got his eyes fixed on him. That man looking for Kittle in the end zone, and he's smart. It's a safety blanket. He's a big target, and nobody can cover this man. Purdy knows he's smart. Nobody can cover George Kittle in the red zone. So, Slasher Gamer says the Purdy Kittle connection is real. It's the real deal. Holyfield, baby. It's the real deal. Holyfield. 49ers fan says Kittle's going to be blocking a lot this game for the run game. He probably will, but he's been doing it all the time with the Brock Purdy. See, that's the thing. Kittle can do both now. He can block and block well like he always does. But now he has a quarterback that's going to utilize him in the red zone. And that's the thing, because he can go to block and then go into a route. That's what Kittle does. He wants to sit on the line and block a little bit, but that's why his routes take a little bit more time to open up, because sometimes he does have to block first, and then he breaks out into a route. So with Purdy taking just a little bit longer to deliver the ball out, it gives Kittle time to operate and run his route. Jimmy Garoppolo's not waiting that long. He's like, I need to get the ball out of my hands in 2 seconds. Boom, hike the ball. He's looking, who's the first read? I'm going to you. Maybe the second read. Kittle, he's that third read most of the time. Brock Purdy holds it just a little bit longer to allow Kittle to kind of open up. So Kittle still will block, but he'll get the rock in the red zone, 100%. No, Gold-blooded says one of Seattle's biggest weaknesses is covering tight end, and their run defense is awful. No need for Kittle in this game. If their biggest weakness is covering the tight end, then you better just feed George Kittle. Do you remember what George Kittle did week 15? George Kittle cooked him. Deebo or Brock Purdy had 2 beautiful touchdowns to him. The first one, oh yeah, no need for Kittle blocking. Yeah, good point, Gold-blooded. Yeah, 100%. That first touchdown, remember the little Hollywood where he boom, 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 the little double fake, boom, touchdown. And then the second one, Purdy just finds him on the rope, says, here you go, Kittle. And then Kittle just yacked it into the end zone. So 100%, Seattle better. They're going to be hard pressed to stop Kittle. He cooked them last time, and I think he'll cook them again. So I can't wait. Albert says Huff going to come out and show why he was picked first team All-Pro. He's going to have 2 picks, 2 tackles, and 1 sack. Woo! Hit that like button. I like that prediction, Albert. Can you imagine if Hufanga has a big game like that? There's definitely no stopping the Niners. I hope he has 2 interceptions. I don't know if he will, but that'd be a phenomenal ball. That's a bold prediction. Speaking of bold predictions, what do you guys think about Nick Bosa? We talked about him being the defensive player of the year most likely. What do you guys think he's going to do tomorrow? I've heard a lot of people say he's going to get 3 sacks. Like he's just ready to explode out on the Seahawks and go crazy. I think he'll get 2 sacks, but we'll see. What do you guys think about Nick Bosa? I think he's going to have a big game. He's a defensive player of the year in my mind, and he's going to have a big performance tomorrow to win this game for the 49ers. 49ers throwback. How's it going? Happy Friday. I'm doing well. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I'm excited for this game tomorrow. Legendary answer says Bosa, 2 sacks. Jordan Willis, 1. Ooh, Jordan Willis. He's been a very underrated player, a very nice role player. A Goated says Cross did a pretty good job on Bosa, but this is playoff Bosa. The last 2 weeks, I think Nick Bosa was in his head, and he definitely didn't have his best performances. That O-line for the Raiders and the Cardinals, they played him pretty well these last couple weeks. But I think Nick Bosa ready to go crazy. Playoff Bosa, built different. Randy says, I like this comment. Armstead and Bosa are both hitting the buffet tomorrow. You're going to eat. Yes, sir. They're going to be rubbing their bellies because they're going to be hungry tomorrow. Nick Bosa and Armstead hitting the buffet tomorrow. I like that. I like it. Sean Duarte says Armstead needs a sack. It's been a while. Yeah, but, I mean, that's not really his thing. His thing is to take pressure off everybody else and pave the way. And he's a stout run defender. If Armstead doesn't get a sack tomorrow, I'm whatever, because I know he's going to be a guy that helps Nick Bosa's job make his job a lot easier. But yeah, if Armstead gets a sack, I'll be happy. It'll be nice to see it. I mean, he definitely is due for one. But it's nice to see Armstead in there, man. He's been a big difference maker since he came back. Run game, like I said, just helping take pressure off of other guys. He demands double teams, so it's going to be fun. Peter says D-line will cause major problems for Geno. That's the goal. And last time we played him, that's exactly what happened. This 49er D-line was just all over the place. And again, this is another key for the 49ers. Can the D-line of the 49ers continue to cook? And that's the thing. The 49ers defense, the last couple of weeks, people have kind of been like, oh, they haven't played too hot. But you remember that second half of the Cardinals? They played amazing. And I think that's the way they got to play. Get the pressure. Take pressure off your secondary. You got to make Geno Smith uncomfortable. You can't let him use his legs. If you keep people in the pocket and you take away that mobility, the 49ers defense is no stopping them. So, no stopping them. 49ers fan 03 says, Lenore worries me. Are you guys worried about Lenore? I've talked about Lenore all week, and I said I'm not worried. He's had a pretty solid year. I know these last couple weeks have been tough. Teams are going to target him. I know they called up Janoris Jenkins today, and I think that's a guy that they may utilize and put him in there. Lenore may not play the whole game as a starter. They're going to probably mix Jenkins in because he's played solid. He hasn't played horrible since he's been called up the last few weeks. But what do you guys think? Do you think Lenore is going to be a liability? Again, my bold prediction already. I already stated that I think Lenore is going to have the big game-changing play. I think he's going to have interception. A lot of people have been dragging him, and I think he's going to play tough to prove people wrong. I think he's going to be motivated tomorrow. I really do. I get it. He hasn't had the best couple of last 2 weeks, and people have been blaming him. I have a feeling that Lenore's going to step up, man. I just have this feeling. Got that dog in him, but we'll see. 49ers fan says, imagine if we had Mosley. And I've said that this whole season, that the moment he went down, that was the biggest injury this whole team suffered. That was the biggest injury, man. To me, that was the biggest injury. We had 2 lockdown corners. We haven't had that in a long time. Long time. We had 2 lockdown corners. Now we don't. Legendary says, Lenore's going to step up. He knows what's at stake. He channeled his 2021 Ambry Thomas against the Rams energy. That's exactly what that's why I think he's going to have a big, I feel, because you remember what Ambry last year, people were dogging him. Oh, he's so bad. He was getting close, and he had some moments in that game, man. It just was like, it all clicked for him, and he had the big time play, and that's what sometimes you just need that one play, and mentally it starts to go right for you. And I think Lenore's going to get it tomorrow. I don't know. I have a feeling, but I could be completely wrong, and he might get cooked again tomorrow. So we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong. And yeah, Cheesecake, that Jenkins has been activated. That's going to be on Lenore's mind. Again, they did activate Janoris Jenkins. That's a guy that might play. I mean, Lenore might not play because they might start Jenkins or they might rotate him. Who knows? But again, my take is if Lenore plays, he's going to play with the bag of Doritos on his shoulder. So MTM, is Drake Jackson playing or is he out again? We don't know yet. He isn't hurt, but the reason they haven't been playing Drake is because they've needed more interior linemen to stop the run. They really haven't needed edge rushers because they have enough. You got Bosa, you got Omenahu, who can play inside outside, and you got Samson Ebicam, Jordan Willis. So the reason Drake hasn't played is because they need more interior line depth to stop the run. So I don't know. To me, if they need to stop the run tomorrow, which is going to be a run-centric game, Drake might not play tomorrow. He might not play, and it's not a bad thing. He's played very well this season, but it's just because of situation and position. They need D linemen in the interior. So Juanita says Pete Carroll better have that double bubble gum on live. He's gonna need it. Woo, let's go. Pete Carroll, he's gonna be chewing that gum all day. He better have like that bubble tape. You guys remember bubble tape? You remember bubble tape? That big can of bubble gum. Yeah, that's what he better have in his pocket tomorrow. Good stuff. Embraceron, what's up, my boy? Ron's Ward, just proud of the content you put out always. Hey, appreciate you, Ron. I appreciate all you guys. Appreciate my boy for the nice comments. It's good stuff, man. I appreciate you. I always try my best. We're going to have a few people hopping on. I'm going to go get a couple people are going to be hopping on. Let me pause this, and we'll go get my guest. We'll be right back. Okay, what's up? We're back. Couple of seconds. My guest will come on. I'm supposed to have a few guests that want to come on today, but we'll see what happens. Everybody in this Friday. Everybody has their own schedule, but they'll be on in just a minute. Legendary, when are we going to get super chats? Hopefully soon. There was some red tape with all that with the YouTube partner program, and then my page got taken away, and then they messed up, and soon enough. So hopefully soon, maybe within the next week or so. So hopefully we get that soon. But anyways, we're going to have someone hopping on real quick. We're going to talk about this game, and then we're going to do our playoff predictions. You guys let me know what you guys think. We'll see what happens. So, Shades by Shardall says Armstead 0 sacks and 11 tackles in 9 games is unacceptable. He makes $20 million per year, and I don't care how much space the dude takes up. He's got to get cut in the offseason. I know everybody wants him to get sacks and this and that and all that. I see it the other way. I feel like he's very important. His presence on the D-line just opens things up for everybody else. And I know he's not putting up the beautiful stats everybody wants. Like, he doesn't fill the box score. I still think Armstead makes this D-line better. Like, he came back, and he's made a huge impact on this team. That's the way I see it. Obviously, not everybody's going to agree. I don't think it's the horrible take, because there are people that agree with you, my man Shades. But I know his stats aren't impressive by any sense of the nature, but I really feel he makes a massive impact. You just don't see it on the box score. But when you watch him, when you watch the film, he makes such a big impact on that D-line, man. He's a trench monster. Sometimes you just need those guys. Like, if you remember Justin Smith and Alden Smith. Without Justin Smith, Alden Smith would never have had the big sack totals. Like, and Justin did get a little bit more interceptions than Armstead does. So, in a sense, I kind of agree with you in the terms of if he's getting paid $20 million, you expect him to get a few more sacks here and there. But the impact he does to allow Nick Bosa to kind of come off the edge and like you said, have more space in there, it's invaluable. You can't really put a price on that. That's my take on it. That's it. It's you can argue it either way, but I think he makes a lot of impact for this team that you don't see in a box score. Justin Smith, very similar. This man used to pave the way, and Alden Smith come right in because everybody had to worry about Justin, and then boom, here comes Alden. So I feel like he's important, but to each their own. To each their own. It's all good. Don't hate on my boy. Don't hate on Shards, because there's a lot of people that agree with that, man. There's a lot of people that feel that way, that he should be putting up bigger stats. So it's not a horrible take. He's getting paid $20 million. So at the end of the day, you do want to see a few stats. So I get what you're saying, my man. But again, I see the impact in a different light than just the box score. Because I used, back in the day, I used to look at the box score and I say, okay, he's not putting up stats. This guy's not good. He's not good. But when you watch the game and you do the film breakdowns and you see it from that perspective, you're like, oh, wow, this guy is very important for this defense. he does have a very specific role, and he does it well. But without further ado, what's up, Big Vlad?
What's going on? Oh wow, the camera's much more. It's different. I just set up. I had a new setup. It's a little different.
A little is it different this time? Let me
For me,
change the,
like my cameras, you look normal. You look like you normal. My camera's a little.
Okay.
It's got an angle. It's got to go like this.
All right, my man. So we got a game this weekend. Little prediction Friday here action. I don't know. We've talked about this week, and then I want to do a little playoff prediction with you. We'll do a little bit of that. But before we get there, this was the comment that we were talking about. My boy Shades by Shardall says, and you're a big. I already kind of know where you're going to go this way, but he says Armstead's 0 sacks and 11 tackles in 9 games is unacceptable. He makes $20 million per year, and I don't care how much space the dude takes up. He's got to get cut this offseason. Like, cut. What do you take up? What's your take on that?
So it's funny. There's a lot, right? I think Arik, he does a lot of great things for the organization. He does a lot of great things, not on the field, but in that locker room too. I think so here's let's break this down a little bit. So first, he doesn't make $20 million a year. His contract was kind of backloaded. He made like $3 or $4 million, then he made like $8 million, then he made like 16 or 18 with like a big cap hit. Going into this season, he renegotiated his contract. So he restructured it and kicked the money he was owed this season to next year. So he's actually only making like, I don't know, 11 or so, which is still, it's fantastic. But it's not his full potential. They kicked it to next year. Next year, he's getting paid $24 million, $25 million. The reason they did that is because when they signed Arik Armstead, it was to an $85 million deal to replace Buckner. He was supposed to be the centerpiece of that defense. He didn't live up to that potential. So going into this year, they said, hey, listen, we're going to go to the table. It's either going to be we're going to have to move something or you're going to have to move the money to next year. He's cool. He bet on himself. He said, listen, I bet you that I'm going to have such a good year that you're going to have to pay me $25 million in 2023 because you're not going to be able to move me. No one's going to trade for me at $25 million. So you're either going to have to cut me, which I don't think they're going to cut him after what he's doing on the field. The reason that he doesn't have any sacks. He has an incredible amount of pressures in those 9 games. And he eats the middle of that line right now. Kinlaw isn't out there. He takes on that guard and that center every time. And he's unlike years in the past where he'd put his hands on his hips, he's going through it. He's not trying to swat the ball down. He's trying to get to the quarterback. He's playing really great football right now.
Yeah, he is. That's big coming from you. That's big coming because you were in the same boat a while back. You said, Armstead needs to put up stats. He's not worth his contract. He's dog water. You wouldn't say dog water, but you did say he needs to put up more stats. But when you see the impact he has, and I get it, people want him to have the big pretty stats, the stat stuff and box score. That's not his game. He's the guy that's going to help with the run game and just be that monster presence inside and let Nick Bosa eat. And you're right, he is a good person off the field. I think that says a long thing too. That goes a long way too because people see that he's a good guy in the locker room and people gravitate towards it. He's a good leader. He was a former captain of this team. And you're right, he does get a lot of pressures. And even if you're not getting a sack, those pressures can lead to interceptions or PBUs and stuff like errant throws. So he does get a lot of he does benefit this team a lot, but you don't always see his impact on a box score. But if you watch the film, you see Armstead coming up a lot. That's the way I take it. But again, I get it. People want him to put those pretty stats up.
Listen. I guarantee you, if you ask John Lynch, would you do it again? He will tell you, no, I'd re-sign Buckner because the difference in contract isn't that much over the long term, and Buckner's the best interior lineman maybe after Aaron Donald. He's probably the second best defensive tackle in the game, right up there. So I guarantee you, if you ask John Lynch, hey, what would you rather done? He'd want to take that back. I bet you he would. Probably. But, he says it himself. That's why he didn't trade Deebo. That's why he doesn't want to do that crazy stuff anymore. It is what it is. You know
That
what
was
I'm
a big
saying?
business lesson for him. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a
it
big.
was. That was a. You have to keep the guy that you know what I mean. You got to keep that guy. You have to figure out the money, because now look at the situation we're in. Regardless of what happens next year, you're paying Deebo Samuel's 23. You're playing Arik Armstead 24. You got to get Bosa signed. That's going to be in the 30s. Like uh, George Kittle, he's going to get 18, 19 million next year.
I got Nick Bosa that's gonna have to get his
Yeah,
extension. Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk.
Who else is getting big time? When Dre Greenlaw got his extension this year, he's getting paid
Yeah.
pretty handsomely. Um, and then
Charvarius Ward is still under
Charvarius Ward,
control. He's under control.
CMC.
CMC, he's 16 million, 16 and a half. So like 16, 20, 40, 60. It's like $80 million. No, I did the math the other day. Depending on Nick Bosa's contract, it's anywhere from 90 to $100 million a year for 5 guys.
That's a lot of money for 5 guys. And you know what?
Five Guys burgers are good though.
Yeah. But I'm glad that the salary cap's going up this year, and 49ers have 2 quarterbacks on a rookie contract, and that is massive right now. And that tells me that's why they're happy they have these 2 young guys. And I'm sure they're happy that Brock Purdy's playing out of his mind, because he was the 7th round pick. His rookie contract is worth pennies compared to most people.
I don't even want to talk about this, but who cares? Because it's not, we don't affect it.
Yeah.
Let's say the best thing happens and the Niners win the Super Bowl this year.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Brock Purdy's manager, do you let him come back and play for that rookie deal, or are you like, nah, buddy?
Oh, I didn't even think it. Oh man,
I wouldn't let him back on the field.
You win a Super Bowl. He might have to force him to get an early contract. That's unprecedented. And with 49ers and quarterback drama, it actually makes sense, because this team always has quarterback controversy. It would be a contract situation. Oh, I didn't think, bro. It'd be unprecedented that a second-year quarterback gets an extension. Can you imagine? Oh my!
If I was his agent, I'd be like, "There's less than 0 chance you can burn this building to the ground if you think he's gonna."
Can they do
come
that
back
second year?
Of course.
Is that like
sit out? Sit out. Cool. I just won you a Super Bowl. Don't pay me. I'm sitting.
Oh my God! Quarterback controversy pending again in Santa Clara every year,
dude. And not for nothing. Like, because it's a movie. And is there anything better for those script writers? The Mr. Irrelevant wins the Super Bowl MVP, and then does a holdout in the offseason?
Can you
that drama?
Can you imagine? Oh, stop it. I get that. You never know. 1 game at a time, but
one game at a time.
You never know. Maybe. It's going to be a juicy offseason, as it always is with the 49ers. I mean, this team, they've never been shy of quarterback controversy since I was a young buck, Montana and Young. And ever since then, it's kind of the norm out here, Santa Clara. So, San Francisco, Santa Clara, it's always quarterback issue, man. It's crazy. I just wanted to finally have one offseason where there's no controversy. But this offseason, definitely there's going to be something, because you got Purdy coming in, playing out of his mind. He's kind of taking this team over. If they make it to Super Bowl and wins, it's crazy. You got Trey Lance, the number 3 pick, coming off a big injury. It's going to be crazy.
Listen, I was watching film earlier today. I was just hanging out, I had it on my phone, of Trey Lance early in the season, this season, and his games last year. The kid he's good, dude. He's good. We haven't seen him, so we have recency bias. But if you look at the way he delivers the ball, he sits in that pocket and takes hits. He's big. He's physical. He's got a cannon on him, dude. His arm is nuts. I was watching some of the throws he was making last year in that Houston game, and I'm like, God, dude, this dude just, he's 20, 21 years old at that point. That was his 17th game ever playing quarterback, and he's just putting it on guys downfield. And I just think, when you have that kind of talent, bro, this offseason is going to be nuts. It's 4 more wins. It's 4 more wins. But when they come into that training camp and if he's at 100% and he can plant and sling it, Dude, that kid's arm is
He's
bananas.
got an arm, and you're right. It's gonna be. I mean, that's why they wanted him, right? That's why they got him. So it's gonna be an interesting take. Real quick, we got a comment from the Soccer Patriot. He says we've seen so many quarterbacks have amazing rookie seasons, but didn't sit out to extend for the future. The risk is too high for those front offices. Silly take. I mean, yeah, I see it in a way, but again, no rookie has ever won a Super Bowl. That would be, I think, what you're saying. That's the coup de grace. Like
Yeah.
no rookie quarterback has ever won a Super Bowl. Now,
Nah.
get it? It's a very short window, but you got the 6 games plus 4 games in the playoffs, which are huge games. That's 10 games and a Super Bowl. I wouldn't say it's a horrible take, but I still think it's definitely like I can't see a guy sitting out in his second season because he was a rookie last year. But we've never seen a rookie win a Super Bowl, so you never know.
Bro, if I'm his agent, I'm like, you better backdoor this kid some money. He just got you. He started 10, whatever, how many games, won all of them, took you to a Super Bowl and won it.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's gonna come back and play for $500,000, bro?
I mean, he might have no choice.
Kick rocks.
Prove it
Well,
again.
You sit out.
Yeah. It's going to be fun, man. But I hope they get this job done. I sat here. I previewed the game, Seattle and the 49ers. What's your take on it? What do you think? Give me like 2 X factors, breakout type player tomorrow, or the guy that's going to be the star, and maybe a score prediction. Go ahead and give me your thoughts on this game.
What's the weather? What is it going to be pouring?
Raining. Let me give you the forecast because it's been raining all week this week, man. It's been crazy. Let me give you the weather, the exact weather tomorrow. Right now in Santa Clara. Tomorrow it's going to be 47 degrees. It's going to be 47 of a low, 54 of a high. It's going to be raining tomorrow 100%. So that's the weather tomorrow. And it's been raining pretty hard. There's been times where it like rains a lot and then it stops, but when it rains, it's been raining pretty heavy.
I think if that's the case and it's raining heavy, first anything can happen. Like it makes the game that much less of a layup because like if the weather's nice, it should be a layup. We should beat them Niners over the Seahawks pretty easy. Weather, that's tough. I'm gonna say the X factor on offense is gonna be Elijah Mitchell. I think he's gonna rush in a couple of touchdowns. I think they're gonna want to pound it on the ground and keep it the ground game like consistent the whole game. I think that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna bully Seattle. I think it's going to be one of those games. It's like the first game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be first playoff game. I think it's going to be one of those games where it's like 3 hours, 2 hours. You know what I mean? 2 hours and 50 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They run the clock. It's 17-11. It's something like that, like 14-7. You know what I mean? Some ugly game where Seattle's not going to. Seattle, listen. Nothing against Seattle. Their offense isn't there yet. They're so far ahead of schedule. Geno Smith looked so unbelievably good this year. They weren't expecting that. Nobody was expecting that. So I think like they can't really consistently run the ball right now. They only really have one target on offense. You shut down DK Metcalf. Lockett's nice, but again, they're not going to be able to throw the ball around the field in the weather. I think the Niners win. I think that defense clamps them down. Elijah Mitchell MVP.
Elijah Mitchell, I like it. I said CMC, but I like the Elijah Mitchell pick. That's a sneaky pick because I think you know what? Because everybody's got all eyes on CMC, right? He's the NFC Player of the Month. I'm sure Seattle's got a big game plan for CMC, and I'm sure Kyle Shanahan knows that. So why not make Elijah Mitchell the big time guy that goes crazy? So I could see it. I like that take. It's a nice prediction. I see it. Defensively, who's your star on defense?
The captain, Fred Warner he's gonna be all over the place.
Fred Warner.
I think he's gonna get like 15 tackles.
Can be wild over the place. I think Warner should have a good game. He typically plays them amazing. You remember his pregame speech last time we played him? He cussing them out, said we hate him. Yeah. You know Warner's gonna bring the heat. I think Nick Bosa's gonna have a big game. I think he's gonna be the star. I think he's gonna be hungry. These last 2 weeks, he really didn't have a big sack. So I feel like he's due for a big game. But this was my bold prediction. I think Deommodore Lenoir is going to have the game like winning or game sealing interception. I have a feeling that Lenoir is going to be like he's going to make a big play tomorrow if he plays a lot because they did call up Jenkins, so maybe Jenkins plays. But if Lenoir plays, I have a feeling he's going to have the big play of the game. I just have this feeling.
Yeah, all the crap he's been eating.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That's what. You got any bold takes for this one?
I think with the weather, I think it's just anything can happen. It's what sucks when it rains this much. A fumble, anything. But I just feel like the Niners are ready, man. I think,
Mm.
and everyone that's saying like Purdy's young, he doesn't have the experience. This is maybe the most experienced team in the playoffs right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Every single person on this team has either been to a title game or a Super Bowl,
Yeah. Yeah.
or have won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and
You know,
that's the thing. This team, and I said that too earlier. I said, Seattle's a very young team in these playoffs. They got a lot of youngsters in their defense, Woolen and Bryant, and they have, Kenneth Walker. And this is Geno's first playoff start. It's a very young team. Like you said, they shouldn't have even been here. Honestly, like that's their mentality. And they know it. The Niners, 2019, they made it to the Super Bowl. A lot of these guys are from that team. 2021, last year, they made it to the NFC Championship game. You have Bosa, you have Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, uh, Kyle
Shadir,
Chandler, Kyle Juszczyk, Trent Williams. All these guys have been
Mooney
there.
Ward,
Jimmy Ward, like these guys have been
Mooney
there. They're
won a Super Bowl for the Chiefs.
yeah, they know what it takes. They know what it
Yeah.
takes. Travis Ward, you're right. Like all these guys know what it takes to get far. They're a veteran laden team, and I just don't think that Seattle is going to be able to beat them because this team knows what it takes. They might be close to start, but the 49ers have everything working from home field. They have they got better team on paper. They have just the
Yeah.
veterans. They have a good coach. And every this team is hungry, man. So Arik Armstead, we didn't even say.
Yeah, I really think like there's no way that this team can't see it. Anything can happen, football, any given Sunday, whatever. But this team is just they're so special, so talented.
Yeah,
It's such a good, well put together team, top to bottom. That like all they got to do is what they know. Like they don't. There's nothing special. They just come in and do your job, cover your assignment, and there's almost no one in the NFL that's going to be able to beat this team head up. The Chiefs, because they have such a special quarterback, and Andy Reid's a wizard. You
yeah,
know what I mean? But that's pretty. Like if you look at it, if you man them up against any team over 60 minutes, there's no way the Niners should win. And that's what it's going to come. I think it's what's going to come down to after this. I think it's going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
okay. So
Uh,
you go the Buck. That's what I was going to bring up next. You did talk about the Chiefs, and I want to do a playoff prediction show. So
yeah,
before playoffs start, I really want to do playoff predictions so people could keep the receipts on us, right?
yeah.
So let's get to it. Let me get the games up, and we'll go over all the games, and we'll drop it down, and we'll let the people pick. It's always fun when we do predictions. So tomorrow, obviously, the first playoff game of the week is going to be Seattle versus the 49ers. I'm picking the 49ers 27-17. What do you have again? What was your score?
I think it's going to be like 17-11.
17-11. Oh, okay. That's an ugly score, but I like it.
Yeah.
So 17-11 Niners. Second game tomorrow is going to be the Chargers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. What do you got going on that one?
I think it's going to be the Jags in an upset. I think a California team's flying to the East Coast. They don't typically do that great. The Chargers are always banged up. There's always issues. There's a shortcoming somewhere, and I don't really love their head coach.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
either.
and I think Doug Peterson's gonna put the game down and show everyone that the Jacksonville Jaguars are real. For the next couple of years, you got to watch out for them.
I agree. I mean, I think Doug Peterson, honestly, um, I think that he's probably, if not the coach of the year, he's definitely in the mix. I mean, this is the Jacksonville Jaguars we're talking about. Do you remember their team last year? They were atrocious. They were the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they
Yeah,
had Urban Meyer, and everybody thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be a bust. Trevor Lawrence looks like the quarterback we thought he was going to be coming out of the draft. Doug Peterson and him are a very good dynamic duo. They have a good defense, good young team. ETN is nice. They spent a lot of money this offseason, and it's coming to fruition. I like Justin Herbert. I think he's the better quarterback, obviously, right now. But they are a team that's so inconsistent because of their head coach. And the biggest bonehead move he made last week was playing the starters. And he got Mike Williams hurt. Mike Williams is going to miss this game because he has a fractured back. That is
There
going
you
to be a
go.
massive loss for the Chargers. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Jaguars just pull it out. It's a home game. They won the freaking AFC South. I can't believe it. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars winning, and a lot of people say it's an upset. I think Jacksonville's the better team. I really do.
Yeah.
The better coach.
I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a big scoring game. I think as long as weather permits, because that Florida weather, sometimes it's really nice and sometimes there'll be a rainstorm.
Yeah.
But as long as weather holds up, I think it's a high scoring game. I think it's like 37-31. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
think it's
Chargers
going
are
to
going
go.
to make it a game because they got a good
Yeah,
quarterback. Bosa's
yeah,
back. Joey Bosa's back. Khalil Mack. They have good team. They've
yeah.
just been so inconsistent. But again, Justin Herbert, man, he's a dog. It wouldn't surprise me if the Chargers win because they got a good quarterback. But that Mike
Sure.
Williams injury, I think is going to cost them. And I have a feeling the Jaguar. There's got to be some weird winner out of these games this week. I think the Jaguars are going to be one of those teams where nobody expected them to move on. So
Hmm.
I have them going to the next round. Sunday, we have 3 games. You have the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. NFC East battle. It's the third time they played each other. Miami is throwing out a 7th-round draft pick themselves at quarterback. Tuo's not playing. And the Bills are one of the favorites to win the AFC. All right, they're the number 2 seed. So I have the Bills winning this game. I just don't think Miami's going to be able to do without Tua. And their team kind of fell apart after they played the Niners. We broke them. I'll be honest. The 49ers broke the
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins. What do you think? You think Dolphins pulled off the upset?
No, I think it's going to be a rout. I think it's going to be like 32-14 or something like real bad. I think Buffalo's going to come out hot. I think they're going to be coming out playing real aggressive, and they're going to go up on a lot, and then they're just going to stay up, and that's going to be the game.
Yeah.
I think Miami's going to have a bad year next year. I think Miami got beat so bad by the Niners that they're going to, because they gave up those draft picks to go and get. So now they don't have that many draft picks coming into this year. They have a couple. They have their little stock, but they gave up quite a bit to get Bradley Chubb and those guys. They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
Unless.
Yeah. I know. Unless something happens. It's going to be an interesting offseason. I think Miami's going to try to make some moves. You never know. But right now, if Tua, in my mind, I think Tua's cooked, man. I mean, he had
He's
way
done.
too many head injuries, concussions. I just don't think it's smart. I think it's negligence if he goes back out there and plays anymore. But hey, what do I know? Yeah, but I agree. Buffalo takes this game. I think it's going to be a rout. Then the second game Sunday, the 1:30 game, the New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. I want to let you go first, and then I'll take this one.
Everyone's been saying I'm crazy, but I think it's going to be the Giants. I think Dayball should be the coach of the year. That team had no shot coming into this year, and they're not great. I'm not saying that the Giants are a great team, but they can do things really well. They get after the quarterback. They're aggressive on defense. They're really aggressive on defense, and they can run the ball well. Their quarterback ran for like 800 yards and like 7 touchdowns this year. Their quarterback. So they can run the ball well. They have some receivers. I really think, and I don't believe in the Minnesota Vikings. I don't believe in them. I don't believe in Kirk Cousins. I think their defense is a paper tiger.
Yes.
I think I think they're going to get beat. I think the Giants are going to come in, and I like the fact that the Dayball rested his players because it was an ugly season. They took a lot of beatings this season. It wasn't easy for them to get into the playoffs. I think they got the last seed. I think they're the last seed, right? And they in the NFC, the second to last seed.
6th seed. They got the second
to the last. Second to last seed.
Last seed, basically.
So I think they come in and smack them.
I agree with what you said. I honestly think, when I look back at it, at first I was a little upset that the Giants didn't play their starters because I was like, I want them to beat the Eagles for the number. And I was like, I thought about it. If in terms of just in general, overall health for their team, they didn't need to win that game. They didn't care if they lost it because that would not have changed their seed no matter what. So for them, they didn't need to win. For us, yeah, we wanted the Giants to win. It didn't matter. But what you just said about the Vikings paper tiger defense, that defense is so bad. They barely won games. They had one. There's a stat I can't remember exactly, but in 1-point games, I think they won all their 1-point games. They were very close to losing many games. It was like a miracle type with The Colts game. That was the craziest game where they were down so many points and they somehow won. Like that was the Viking season. It was like they won miracle type games, and I think their magic runs out. I know they're at home. I think the Giants, they're a team that's overachieved all season. I think they're going to continue. And they have Saquon Barkley in the playoffs. You have to be able to run the football. I think the Giants are going to pull this upset off. And Brian Daboll, I agree. He should definitely be top three head coach of the year candidate. I got Doug Peterson, I got Daboll, and I got Shanahan. They're all great coaches. Brian Daboll has the Giants in the playoffs. They had Danny Dimes at quarterback. You know how many people thought this guy was the trash quarterback? Danny Dimes was looking damn good this season, and you're right. He had 800 yards rushing. Danny Dimes, I think Brian Daboll's going to pull the upset off on Sunday. I have a feeling I would not be surprised if the Giants win this game. So I agree with you. The Giants are beating the Vikings. The last game of Sunday, Baltimore Ravens without Lamar Jackson. I think his time in Baltimore is done. That's just my opinion. Against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Big. Joe Burrow is a damn good quarterback. He's a winner. This guy's got a special talent. What do you think, Baltimore or Cincinnati?
I think that's a Cincinnati route. I think Baltimore, when Lamar wrote that letter saying, "Hey man, this ain't gonna be it," I think that whole locker room probably just turned off a little bit. They'll show up. They'll give them a game. They hate Cincinnati. That's a big rivalry. Yeah. But I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be a tough game. I think Joey Burrow puts up like a 30 burger on him, and walks out of there smoking a cigar, real confident.
I agree. Burrow is locked in. He's a great quarterback. He's a good winner. This is a rivalry game. John Harbaugh's a good coach. He'll keep them close, I think, for the most part. It's a division game. They're going to play with a lot of pride, but Cincinnati Bengals are just they're just a good team. And I think during the playoffs, Burrow knows how to play, man. He's confident, man. This guy is so confident. What did he say? They asked him the other day. They said, how long is the Super Bowl window for the Cincinnati Bengals? He says, the window is my career. Like, this guy is that. He goes, as long as I'm here, we got a chance to make the Super Bowl. I was like, man, this guy is oozing confidence. Joe Burrow is Joe Shiesty, call him what you want. He's going to win this game. Bengals, I would be if the Bengals lose this game, that is the biggest upset of the weekend, in my opinion. Bengals win this game by far and away. This is an easy dub for them. They'll probably win by like 2 scores.
I think so. I think so.
We'll see.
And then Monday.
Last game of the playoff schedule for this week, Monday Night Football. You can't put it. Yeah, I mean, that's great. Monday Night Football, of course, the Dallas Cowboys. They love Monday. The media loves Dallas. They want Dallas to win this game. Against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay. How the hell did they get here? 8-9. They won the NFC South. Tom Brady's Tom Brady. You throw out the record. I know you love Tom Brady. Dallas Cowboys have never beaten Tom Brady in the history of the playoffs. Tom Brady's 7-0 against the Dallas Cowboys. Will that record continue? What do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be 8-0. It's going to be 8-0. I think it's the thing is last week the Bucks didn't even have everybody. They sat a lot of their injured guys. They had nothing to play for. Tom just put up some yards for the stat sheet and called it a day. And I think putting them on Monday night, giving them that extra 24, 48 hours of relaxation and rehabilitation, I think those guys are going to be primed to play. And I think you're going to see a guy like Julio Jones score a touchdown on Monday night. I think you're going to see Tom put up like 3 or 4 and put up a Tom Brady game, like a 350 and 4 touchdowns type of game on Monday night, and get into the, you know what I mean? And then cruise into next week. And who would he be playing?
He would be playing the 49ers. Yeah. No, they would be if with our prediction with the Giants, it'd be Tampa Bay versus San Francisco. Brock Purdy, Tom Brady, round 2. Can Brock Purdy beat Tom Brady for a second time? It's tough, man. So then I agree with what you just said. I don't think Dallas is strong enough to win a playoff game. I think they're a soft team. Now, I think the media would love to see the 49ers Dallas. I think that would be a huge game. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people want to see. But I cannot bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs right now.
Nah.
And I think that he's going to live to see one more week and get one more chance against his boyhood team. I think it is going to be Tampa Bay over Dallas. I think it'll be a close game because, again, Tampa Bay is not. I mean, their team
No.
has had some injuries, some issues, but it's Tom Brady. I think it's going to be close. He'll be throwing the iPad a couple times. But, man, Dak Prescott, just to me, I don't see him being that playoff winning quarterback. And I think that Tampa Bay is going to pull the upside. They're at home. And I think Tampa Bay lives to see another week. And I think it's going to be San Francisco versus Tampa Bay, and then the Giants versus the Eagles in the NFC. And then so going back to the AFC, we have those playoff matchups. Then would be what do we say?
Jacksonville versus Kansas
Yeah,
City.
Jacksonville versus Kansas
Cincinnati
City.
versus Buffalo.
So what do you
The
got on
game
those
that
two
never
games?
happened.
The game that never happened. They want it to
Oof.
happen.
Oof. I think that one's the closer game. I think Cincinnati does it again. I think the triangle in the AFC is the Bills can beat the the Chiefs can beat the Bills can beat the Bengals, and the Bengals can beat the Chiefs.
Okay.
But I think you're going to see again this year that the inability for the Bills to run is going to bite them.
Yeah.
And I think that Cincinnati beats them, and I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars put up a decent fight, but I think Kansas City probably, does their job and beats the Jacksonville Jaguars. That defense isn't going to stop.
I was so close. I've been wanting to pick the Bengals to win because I was like, I think the Bengals are going to win. Just for what you said, I think that the run game is going to hurt the Bills, and Joe Burrow is just so damn good in the playoffs. He's a winner, and the Bills make a lot of mistakes. But the reason why I'm saying this, the NFL, if it comes down to Kansas City and the Bills, they're going to have a neutral site playoff game. I think it's going to. I just keep in my mind thinking they want it. I mean, I think it's going to be the Bills versus the Chiefs, neutral site in Atlanta,
Vegas.
and it's going to be a massive game. And I think that's the AFC Championship. I think the Bengals probably, if it wasn't up, if they didn't have that stupid neutral site thing clouding my mind, I think what you just said is 100% true. That the Bengals are probably the team that could kind of beat the Bills. Because the Bills do make mistakes, but I have the Bills coming out of that game. It's the game that never happened. They're going to win for DeMar, and they're going to make it to the Chiefs. And last year, the Chiefs and the Bills played a classic playoff game, and I think that's what I feel like is going to be a rematch of that game. So that's my AFC Championship. Now in the NFC, we got, like we said, Tampa Bay, San Francisco, Philadelphia, New York. I don't think the New York's going to beat Philadelphia with their starters, but I think it's going to be very close. I think this is where Dayball's magic ends. I got Philadelphia, and I got the 49ers beating Tom Brady for the second time this year. I just think Brock Purdy's going to outbeat him again. And he's going to be the first quarterback. He's going to basically, I think Tom Brady's passing the torch to Brock Purdy. And it's going to be 49ers versus Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game. What do you got?
I do agree with you that the Niners are going to go to the NFC title game. I like Tampa more than I like Dallas, but I don't think they're going to be able to handle that Niners defense.
Yeah.
There's no way. I think the Giants upset the Eagles, man. I think they upset them. I think Jalen Hurts is a little more banged up than people like to say. I think if anything happens to him in that divisional round and he gets hit, who do we say they'd be playing? The Giants. Yeah, I think he gets hit in the Giants game. I think that you saw like he didn't look that great.
Mm-hmm.
He had some injuries. I think the Giants are going to be gunning for him, man. I think they are. I really do. I think they're going to gun after Hurts. I think they're going to upset him. I think it's going to be Giants versus San Francisco in San Francisco in the title game.
Wow.
I think that's when Dayball's magic runs out.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, and
that's a bold take. It's a bold take. So you have Giants, San Francisco, and then you got the Niners beating the Giants. Obviously, make this Super Bowl. So who do you have? Okay, so you have the Bengals and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. Who takes it in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl?
Since you said that neutral site game, now that's like floating in my head.
Yeah.
But let's just say Cincinnati in this way. I think the Chiefs beat them.
Yeah.
And I think the Chiefs beat the Bills in the neutral site.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna put him in a dome, he's gonna route you even harder. Yeah. It's gonna be even worse.
It's not even a fair fight. Like I think so my playoff prediction. So AFC, I have the Chiefs versus the Bills, neutral site in Atlanta. and I have the Chiefs beating them, man. It's going to be an advantage for Kansas City in the dome. Patrick Mahomes, and again, the Bills are great. They're a fun team, but again, they've just made too many mistakes this season. I think it's going to catch up with them when it counts. And I think I have the Chiefs taking the Bills out. And Chiefs are making the Super Bowl. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, those guys are going to win another Super Bowl at some point, but hopefully this isn't the year. I have the 49ers defeating the Eagles. And just like you said, I think that the Niners are going to be the team that really throws Hurts around, and I think he's going to be busted up, and he's not going to be the same guy. I think we're going to force him to be a pocket passer, and the Niners are going to pull it out. I think it's going to be San Francisco versus Kansas City in the Super Bowl, and I have the 49ers. Obviously, I'm a homer. The 49ers beating the Kansas City Chiefs. But, man, that is a scary matchup. That's the one team that I think we have the hardest time matching up against. They match up against the Niners very well, so it will be a very hard-fought game. But you remember, George Kittle, 2019, he says, I will be back here, and I'll be back with a motherfucking vengeance. And this is it. Revenge season, I think, is coming to a fruition. 49ers over the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I don't know. Maybe it's cheesy.
I think if it comes to that, I would have to believe that a guy like Trent Williams isn't going to leave Arizona without a Super Bowl, without a Lombardi trophy. You know what I'm saying? And I think if it comes down to the Chiefs and the Niners, I don't believe that Trent and Nick and George are there. I don't think it's gonna. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is going to be. I think the defense is going to come out so fast, and they're going to come out so aggressive that it won't matter. And I don't think Kyle's going to let him dance on the sideline in the third quarter. What up, Smitty? And I do think I think if it's Chiefs Niners, I know you hope, anything can happen, but I think the Niners rout them. I think the Niners pull it out and put up number 6, put up banner number 6.
I hope so, man. I hope you're right. It's going to be tough. It's going to be an interesting battle, but we got my boy Smitty hopping in. What's up, man? How you doing? You just ended your show and hopped on here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, buddies. I probably can't stay too long, but wanted to jump on and say good luck, gentlemen. Hopefully that rain isn't a wild card for you during wild card weekend.
I know. Oh, but I'm bummed.
But you guys will probably handle that. I mean, you got so much going in your favor. So much going in your favor. But what's the one thing that worries you if you're trying to be objective? Like if you're the coach and you're like, we can't count our eggs before they hatch. Like, what is the one thing you're worried about? The significantly worried about that you could neutralize them with?
Okay,
this weekend?
Yeah,
the rain.
No. Like what's the one thing about the Seahawks in general that if you neutralize, you're not like what's the one?
Oh, I think
that offense, whatever.
DK Metcalf. Okay, I don't think they really have anything after him.
My biggest concern, is okay. So the last 2 times we played the Seahawks, we did not let them rip us apart in the passing game. Our secondary held tough. We were able to get to Geno. These last couple weeks, I know the defense has had trouble and stopping the pass. Tavante Adams just dog walked us. I'm not gonna lie to you. And the Cardinals, they had a little success early on the passing game. So my biggest concern is if we cannot stop that passing game. If Lockett and DK Metcalf play up to their huge potential and they start getting open and then pushing it downfield and Geno can start playing like Geno was at the beginning of the season, that's to me the biggest X factor. Now, I think the rain is going to slow down the running, the passing game is going to be a run type of game. But that is the only issue that I see is if the Seattle Seahawks are able to throw on the 49ers, might be a longer game than we thought.
Yeah. I just don't think, like, if it's supposed to rain like it's supposed to rain, I think it's going to be a running game. I think it's going to be who can run the ball better. And that's where I say, like, fumbles, stuff like that. That's my biggest worry. But I think, like, the Niners are going to be able to run the ball on Seattle. I don't think Seattle's going to be able to run the ball on the Niners.
Mm-hmm. My biggest fear would be, if I was you guys, is Kyle changing his game plan in the wrong way due to weather. Okay. Or not adapting properly due to weather. Because like you've said it yourself, it was almost like the last time it rained, like they weren't prepared for it. It wasn't, like that's the only thing that would concern me is that would Kyle take his foot off the gas, change everything in a weird way. But past that, I mean, you guys have so much going for you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you always worry that Kyle's not going to be aggressive, but over the last 2 months, man, he's just been it's been different. Like he's just been so aggressive. But you're right. You always worry about, is Kyle going to take his foot off the gas? That's a good point, Smitty. Is, that's the thing, is we've gotten so close, but every time we get that close, it's Kyle takes his foot off the gas. And this playoff run, he has to continue to be aggressive, stick to the game plan, run the ball 30 times. The last time we played Seattle, the 49ers ran 30 times, and that's the recipe to beat Seattle again this week in the rain. Run it down their throat. I want them to run 40 times if that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I think that's the reality for the next 4 games. That's the reality for the next 4 games. You have to establish the run to the point where the other team has nobody in the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's at the line of scrimmage, and then you can go and rip them apart with your throws and the bootlegs and the play action. But like, teams need to come in to San Francisco and be worried about the run, period.
Yeah.
And what I think is going to happen is if everything goes the way I think, and the Niners make it to the Super Bowl and it's against the Chiefs, I think Andy's going to start the game with 8 men in the box. I think he's going to start right off the bat with a 46 defense and be like, go ahead and throw it with your last pick. And we're going to see if your last pick can keep up with Patrick Mahomes.
If Kenny Walker
is going to happen.
If Kenny Walker can get
Kenny Woda?
Kenny Walker?
Woda, because he walks like a duck, because he runs like a duck. That's why he's always injured.
He runs like a monster, bro.
Yeah, he runs like a duck, and then his legs are injured.
Is that how monsters run these days, like a duck?
Like a duck.
Yeah. How often is he injured though?
How often is he not that? No, he's not. He's not that. I mean, bro, he had a hernia and then one injury, but that hernia that's not something you can predict. But if he has like 70 plus yards on the ground, they have a shot. If you can keep him under like 40, but remember last game he had like 40 receiving, 40 rushing, something like that. He had about a 75 to 85 total yard game.
I don't think that's enough. I'm not worried.
I think they need to run him.
They need to run the ball at least. They need at least.
They need to run. Yeah, they need 100 plus yards to beat the Niners. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, D. Hurst says we should not worry about Walker. They need to worry about our running backs. That's it, man. They got to stop our run. Passmaster wants to know if Greenlaw's good to go. Yes, he's playing. The only people that are out for this game are Ambry Thomas and Jimmy Garoppolo. The only players listed as out that are on the active roster. So everybody's healthy for the most part.
Yeah.
You think they start Jimmy next week if he's healthy?
No.
The fact that we're even asking that question is ridiculous.
Why is he on the roster?
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying the fact that even has to be discussed is ridiculous.
I'm just saying, why is he on the roster?
I don't know. It's a backup. I guess if Purdy were to go down, then it's like all.
But he's not. He's out.
I know. That's not.
That's what I'm saying. If he's out and he's on the roster,
because I think later. I'm saying later on, I think he'll be active to be a backup.
Because if they would have put him on the IR, they wouldn't have been able to call him up because they wasted all their 8 IR call ups. So in the case they absolutely need him for a backup, plan emergency B, they would need to have him on there because
just stay healthy, Purdy. Please stay healthy.
That's all we gotta hope.
Don't run him. No halfback plunges for
God,
Purdy, please.
If Purdy gets hurt, don't even knock on wood. He's got to stay healthy because Josh Johnson's our QB2 right now. And then you're right. If it gets to that point, they're going to be like, well, Jimmy might be able to play because I can't.
Hey, he's actually, you just see him at the podium. I can see him at the podium, big grin on his face.
I just want to know if you guys thought there was a chance.
No. And the only reason they didn't put him on the injury reserve because in the chance that he has to be a backup, injury-wise, they wouldn't have been able to call him up because they've went through all their injured reserve spots. But there's no way.
Okay, for everybody pretending it's not possible, though, we're talking about Kyle Shanahan and his love for Jimmy. So, like, there's a threat. If he's around, there's a threat.
Oh, man.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, I mean, we've seen this before. Like, Trey should not have come out after that Houston Texan game, but he did.
It is what it is. But you know what? Right now, Brock Purdy's QB1. Jimmy Garoppolo's still rehabbing.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy's the guy. And he's going to take us as far as he can take us.
Yeah.
So I'm hyped. I'm excited. Smitty, I didn't ask you your score prediction. So Vlad and I have been chopping it up. We've been talking about the 49ers Seahawks. We did our predictions. Give me your score prediction. Give me maybe a bold prediction and a breakout player or the X factor, like the guy that is going to win the game for either team.
35-17 Niners.
I like it.
I'm going to say Christian McCaffrey, 2 touchdowns, 100 total yards. Lean on the guy.
Yeah.
Kittle's going to have a big game here or there. It doesn't have to be this game. It could be next game. I think that it'll be very run friendly this game.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, but that's assuming that Kyle doesn't take his foot off the gas, because he's certainly capable of that.
I don't think he will, because I think he knows what's at stake, and I think he's learning his lesson. But again, we'll see how it goes. I agree with you. I think CMC is going to be the big X factor. That's my thought. Vlad has Elijah Mitchell. I like that. I have 27-17. You got 35-17, and Vlad has 17-11. I like it.
I think it'll be a really close game until the end, and then it'll just separate because of garbage attempts to try and get back in it. So it'll be a close game, but at the end it'll just be like, how you guys do that? It'll be you're like, oh my God, we got to win this game. Why at half is it so close?
Yeah.
And then it's like the fourth quarter, it's like touchdown. I feel like it could unfold that way at the end.
Yeah, I kind of see it that way too. I feel like it's gonna be a close game at the half, and people are gonna be a little nervous, like, I don't know, and then we'll pull off in the second half. We'll get an interception or a turnover or something like that. So, all
right, gentlemen, I got to jump, but I appreciate you. Good luck.
Appreciate you. Thanks for coming on, my man, Smitty. Yeah. Everybody loved that you picked the Niners today. So.
Well, I mean, did anybody think I was going to pick? I do have the Eagle Niner game, but early on, no. I mean, you guys are definitely winning that game.
I know. Real quick before you leave, thoughts on McVay staying with the Rams?
Jeff Bezos didn't give him enough money.
It feels very similar to if Aaron Rodgers decides to stay with Green Bay, they're gonna be like, oh, I think the Rams might be like, oh.
You think they didn't want him?
Well, I think they do and they don't. I think I don't know. I think that sometimes you need to mix things up. It doesn't mean that a coach is bad in general, but I do think Aaron Rodgers needs to leave Green Bay on that topic, whether he retires or gets traded. But we'll see. Everybody I talk to, you talk to a really hardcore Green Bay fan, they're like, we want to move on. Like, they really do. Even though they love Aaron Rodgers, they want to move on. They want to see what Jordan Love's got in the cards. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on with McVay. The fact that McVay told his coaches to start looking for jobs was weird.
Yeah, that wasn't weird.
Like, why would you do that and then come back? And it just seems like a really shaky situation. But we'll see what happens, man, in 2023. I don't think they're going to be a Super Bowl threat, but they could still be a very good team. They still got a lot of talent.
They got talent. But there's rumors that Jalen Ramsey wants to either hang it up or go to another team.
Yeah, I think Cooper Kupp bounces back in a big way. He'll be fine. But Cam Akers looked good at the end of the year. I knew he wouldn't do anything coming off the torn Achilles. I tried to tell everybody you cannot do that a year removed. But he started to look good at the end of the year. He could come in and do well. I mean, they've got weapons. It just can Stafford still throw the ball? I think he can. But will he be a Super Bowl caliber quarterback? I don't think so.
It's gonna be interesting, man.
I'm more excited about what happens in Arizona. I'm more excited to see if we've got the balls to do something crazy with Kyler. Even if you just signed him to a big fat contract. We just signed Cliff Kingsbury to a big fat contract. They cut him. So who knows? There's no GM. There's no head coach. Sean Payton could set up shop from the ground floor with no GM. That's where the Cardinals are one of the most attractive landing spots, because there's no GM in place. It's completely ground floor. He gets to do whatever he wants. We got the number 3 pick. I don't think we would surrender that to get Payton. We would surrender some other future draft capital, which I don't know would get it done or not, but we'll find out. Number 3 picks available to draft Bijan Robinson. Let's ground and pound, baby.
You're the Bijan Robinson. Are you his agent? Because every year there's a guy that
Yeah.
go to. You're his agent this year, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're Bijan's agent.
I can't wait. He's so good, bro.
He's Agent Smitty.
He's so good. He's so good.
Oh, man. Kyler, I know me and you last year, we both said it. Kyler doesn't deserve the money. They paid him, and I said they were going to pay him because they're desperate. They're going to keep him because that was they paid Kingsbury that he's tied to him, so they wanted to keep them together. Package deal. Kingsbury's out. I mean, you never
know. And
it's gonna be interesting.
And a trade can solve a bad contract. Like there are teams that would be glad to take the Kyler Murray contract on.
I'm sure there would be. People like he's still a talented guy, young quarterback with a lot of promise. You never know. He should have signed with the A's in baseball. But,
he's a second baseman playing the quarterback position.
I'll tell you, getting rid of Hopkins is the worst thing you could do for him because he throws outside the pocket. Hopkins loves to catch the football that way. And it's like, why would you even consider? And he's as good as gone. It seems like that could be repaired. But he took off all Cardinals from social media bios and
he gone.
So
if I was them, I would try to go and get the Redskins first round pick. Give him Kyler Murray.
You're like 3 teams ago, bro.
Yeah, give Kyler Murray to the Redskins. They're
not even the football team anymore, bro.
I love the football team. Remember, Smitty, when we were trying to come up with a team name? I loved when they were the football team.
Vladdy's like 3 generations behind.
I know. That was so good. The football team.
They were almost the presidents.
They were almost.
They should, they're whatever. The Commanders.
Can you imagine the presidents?
Kyler Murray and Ron Rivera, he loved Cam Newton. It's very that running quarterback, run outside the pocket. Terry McLaurin. They got Dotson over there, quick, fast receivers. Like that's the perfect kind of setup for them. You get their first round pick this year, maybe another one next year, something like that. You know what I mean? They get the quarterback of the future. You get Sean Payton. If that happens, the Niners need to worry because if you're talking about Sean Payton, no Kyler Murray, he gets to pick his GM. Yeah. That's a problem. That's a real problem for the Niners.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's a shakeup. I'm hoping it's a shakeup.
You want a whole new regime, huh?
Because you don't care. At that point, if you lose Hopkins, who cares?
Yeah.
Get rid of
Hopkins. But to lose Hopkins and keep Kyler doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. But we'll see. All right, gentlemen.
I appreciate you, Smitty. Have a good night, my man.
Later, guys.
All right, man. Yeah, man. I'm excited for this, man. Good to see Smitty hopping on the YouTube. It's gonna be a crazy offseason. Thankfully, we're in playoff mode. Games gonna be crazy. I think we hit everything on the head. I don't know. You got anything else, my man, Vlad?
Bro, I can't wait for tomorrow. I'll talk tomorrow, and hopefully, I'll keep it together. I won't lose my mind.
I hope so. I hope I'm the same, man. I'm a little nervous. Not gonna lie to you now. I'm just more like anxious. I just want the game to start.
It's just because it's his first. It's because it's Brock's first playoff game. Like it's on a roll. You see what he's doing. The NFL playoffs is a whole different animal. Everything gets crazy. We just want him to get here.
Yeah. I mean, we've waited all season for this moment, and it's tough because like we have 10 games in a row. We've won it. Like we're so used to winning that we're kind of nervous. Like if we lose this game, it's over. Like all those wins, all those that win streak, it doesn't matter if we lose this game. So I can see why people are a little nervous, PTSD, but I mean, the Seahawks have nothing to lose right now. They have literally nothing to lose. The 49ers, there's pressure, when you're a favorite team, when you're a big seed, there's pressure on you, so it is going to be a big game, man. This is, again, we haven't played the Seahawks in the playoffs in many years. Last time we played them, you remember what happened. That was a disgusting finish. Pete Carroll, I'm sure he's going to bring his A game tomorrow, but I think the Niners are the better team, like we said, and I think they'll survive this game. So
I agree. Keep it rolling. 4 more wins.
4 more wins, baby. 1 game at a time, but 4 more wins.
Yeah. I appreciate you, Raj. I'll see
Appreciate you too, Vlad. Thanks for hopping on, man. Stay up, man. Florida. How's Florida doing? How's that Florida weather?
Bro, can't beat it. It's actually going to be chilly the next 2 days. It's like 65.
So 65. Whoa.
Pretty chilly.
It's pretty chilly. Oh, man.
I'll talk to you soon, dude.
I'll talk to you soon, man. 65 degrees chilly. Fucking Florida, man. Florida Vlad coming to the stream today. Shout out to my boy Vlad. Shout out to Smitty. Good stuff. I agree. It's all on Brock being ready for the moment. He's been cooking. He's had a magical regular season. Can he continue it into the playoffs? I think he will. I think it's just going to keep rolling because the team around him is phenomenal. But I do agree. Like, it's a whole nother season. Can Brock stay playing the way he has? It's been a magical run. But let's see. Devo says, I love your show, but go Hawks. Much respect. I love you, but go Niners. Much respect to you. I hope the Niners win. But hey, to each their own. Shout out to my boy. He's a Seahawks fan, and he's very respectful watching the show. So that's what I like. I like fans of other teams that are very respectful, because we get fans from other teams that just want to talk trash. But hey, if you win, you can trash talk all you want. So shout out to my boy. I hope we get this dub tomorrow. 49ers. Let's see. I'm excited. I'm hyped. And yeah, finally a cool Seahawks fan. Yeah, exactly. The Purdy edit from the NFL that they made. Oh, so good, man. That Purdy video from the NFL was insane. Like, it's like, oh my God, that was probably the coldest edit I've seen in a long time. That edit was just insanity. So yeah, shout out to the NFL for that one. That was dope. Let's go. Yeah, let's see. Anyways, the 49er Productions video. Yeah, that bit. When I saw that, I was like, I gotta post this one. That video was so dope. Like, it was kind of like chilly. It was like, it sent me chills because you see those first few moments and you're just like in pain. You remember all the heartache, the Crabtree against the Ravens, the fade, and then Richard Sherman, tipping the ball with the interception the Seahawks get. And you remember that moment, and the Jimmy last year getting sacked and throwing the pick to Jermichael, and then Deebo crying, like all those sad moments. And then Trey goes down, the Jimmy goes down, and then boom, here he is, Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. Is he the savior? I sure hope so. I hope so. So let's go Niners. Let's get it, baby. Big game tomorrow. I appreciate you guys for hopping on. We were almost live for 2 hours. So good show today. Good stream. It's a good preview show. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night and enjoy tomorrow. And let's get hyped up tomorrow. It's playoff football. It's 4 more games. If we keep rolling, we live to see another week. So let's hope the Niners can get this dub. I love you guys. Have a good night. And bang, bang, Niner gang, baby.